Hello and welcome to Off Meta Monday, where we explore builds that, either have fallen out of favor or are played by a few people in the dark shadows and no one knows about it. And we try to shine a light on it and take a look at builds that are just kind of underplayed right now. And I figured we would kick off this season of Off Meta Monday by looking at an old archetype that I wanted to say oldie but a goodie. Oldie that was a goodie that, spoilers, is kind of not in the best place anymore. And that is the Golemancer, the pure Golemancer. There are actually a fair number of people playing it right now, not that many. But if we look at an Elementalist, which is currently 8% of the entire player base, oh my god, Deadeye is insane right now. But Elementalist is 8% of the entire player base, 7,200 total characters. And if we look at the Golems, that is about 2.5% or so of that 7,200 players. Granted, I know PoE Ninja is not all of the players, but of the players on PoE Ninja, about 2 to 2.5% of them are playing some flavor of Summon Golem. Summon Golems are Stone, Carrion, Flame, Chaos, Ice, and Lightning. And as you can see, Stone is actually the most popular. What we're going to be talking about today is Summon Flame Golem. What we're going to be talking about kind of applies to all of them a little bit. The basic idea is that you are playing an Elementalist that has these set of nodes right here that are directly focused on getting more golems and buffing them. On top of that, there are a set of unique items with the Primordial Chain, as well as a bunch of jewels, which we'll be stacking to make your golems do more damage, get stronger buffs, go faster, etc., as well as to be able to summon additional golems with the Anima Stone. With all of that stacked together, we now can summon up to 9 golems, and then we want to stack as much minion damage, minion attack, and cast speed as possible to buff them and make them our primary damage source. So this is not a deep dive into a build. This is going to be a quick, vertical slice through a build. I played this for about 3 hours yesterday. I put it together in total of about 5 hours, and I spent fewer than 10 divines if you don't count this one item that I bought. If you don't count this one gem, I spent fewer than 10 divines. I just bought this one to see if I could make them do enough damage, but spoilers, it wasn't enough. That's the basic idea. There's a bunch of different flavors of it. We can take a look. I opened up a bunch of tabs right here. You can see that they're doing Brass Dome, which we'll get into why I think that's a mistake. Pledge of Hands, all using Primordial Chain, basically all of them. Yeah, looking across this, you can see this is the basic idea. And that is what I put together really quickly yesterday. So we'll just start off with a mapping showcase just to show you what's going on. We are doing some cool tech that not everyone is doing that I think is pretty interesting, actually. Let's just run a white beach right here because I don't want to I don't want to push my luck. Pros right off the bat. This build is a walking simulator, and it's a very, very comfortable walking simulator. You can see that I have basically no buttons allocated whatsoever. The only button that I have whatsoever is Intuitive Link. Like, this is just a one-handed playstyle. It's just Intuitive Link, and what we have that doing is we can right-click on a monster right here, or one of our minions. You'll see this little green line. You can see this buff right here. There's a little green line going between me and my golem. It'll trigger a supported spell from the link target's location. So it'll cast from the location of the target the spells that have linked to it. So we have, and this is just what other people are doing. I think there's probably better stuff you can do. We are linking Arc with Chain, Life Tap, and Anomalous Increased Duration, because it's really going to be stressing our mana, so we want to reduce that as much as possible. And then also Elemental Weakness, so we have a curse in there as well. And so besides every 15 seconds or so casting an Intuitive Link, this is just a pure walking simulator, and it's very comfortable. While this build does not have very good defenses, it does have really, really good life regen. And in fact, the stretch thing that I would probably do, and in fact, I will add this in, why not? The thing that we can do is actually add in a Chaos Golem as well, and that'll give us really, really good physical damage reduction. It does reduce the number of Flame Golems by 1, but it gives us solid defense, and I think that's probably the right play. And yeah, anyway, that is the setup right here. We just walk around. I would prefer to have Convocation and left click, but that's about it. They just sit there. They attack really, really quickly because we are stacking. We have it in a Pledge of Hands, so they're getting the double cast right there. And then we are linking an additional Spell Echo, so they're double casting, and then they get an additional cast on top of that. Just auto walking simulator right here. We'll go into the single target to show what it looks like. You can see the clear is fine, right? It's not exceptional clear. It's not bow build clear. It's limited by your walk speed and your convocation speed, and and your golems being stuck casting. And then the single target, you just kind of get here and you watch them die. It's not bad, right? T16 boss map die, pretty quickly. And that is the mapping. So I think in terms of the benefits, it's because it's so off meta, it is very, very cheap to put together. Like really, if you're looking to, stay really on the budget, you can very easily keep this below 10 divines and put it together for a nice auto walker that can run regular T16 maps just fine. So that's the build, and that's what it looks like. And then I'll show you why I think this is probably the main reason why it's not played very much right now. Because I think the playstyle is there. It's a very comfortable playstyle. It's an auto walker. You don't have to press any buttons whatsoever. Periodic intuitive link right there because we have that set up, but you don't even have to do that. The number one reason that I don't think that this build is played very much is because of this. Like I know the Stone Golem version is better. I played Chaos Golems as well. I actually was building around that. And that was pretty interesting. Chaos Golems had more single target. But yeah, just look at how bad this is. I think my rough estimate is I'm in the 3 to 4 million DPS range on the very top end. And that's perfect scenario. It's not very good. I think it's on average, you're probably talking closer to like 2 million or so. And in the game right now, we're in the state where damage, I'm probably just going to die here. I'm not trying to do the mechanic itself. We're in the state of, there are monsters like hard essence monsters, soul eater rares. If you want to do bosses, the bossing experience is just not exceptional. If I had max spell suppression here, I could, if I did the mechanic, it'd be fine. But I think that's a good demonstration of just how bad the single target is. And even if I was doing 2 or 3x the single target here, the questions that I get all the time is like, is this build good for Simulacrum? Is this build good for 100% Deli? How deep can I delve with it? Look at Trial this league, right? Trial's insane. We're in the state of the game right now where single target that low for your forever build. Like this is fine for a league starter, right? If you can put this together. But granted, right, this is a 6-link Pledge of Hands. This is, there are some required, there's quite a few required uniques, right? There's a lot of uniques that it takes to put this build together. While it's all cheap because it's off meta right now, that amount of effort to go into a build that's like super mid is hard to justify. That's why I think the build is off meta. I think it's a comfortable play style. I'm glad that I explored it and it's really interesting, but I think that's it. I think that's about as much effort as it's worth putting into. I do want to demonstrate to all these people that are running Brass Dome right now because it hurts me to see. So everyone's running Brass Dome right now. For reference, if you don't have enough armor, right, like my Fizzmax hit is better with a Flask up, with a Brass Dome on. I have 25,000 armor. It gives me a 6k Fizzmax hit. The problem is armor scales directly based on the size of the hit that's incoming. And when you get into those harder monsters, those hard essence monsters, even stuff you're going to see in a map, they're going to hit you so hard that for me, about 10k, like for a build that you put effort into, League Starter is a little bit different, but when you put effort into a build, I think 10k Fizzmax hit is kind of where you want to be aiming, without your Immortal Call Up or anything. And Brass Dome, 25k armor is just not going to be it. Granted, you could get a little bit more, but it's still just not going to compare to doing something like a Lightning Coil that's going to give you 12.5k Fizzmax hit. Going against your Lightning Res, that 50% is going to be mitigated to 37%, which then makes your armor significantly more effective. Even though you have less armor, because that hit incoming is so much smaller, Lightning Coil is just better. Especially this league, we can use a lot of tattoos, get that Lightning Res back, and it's really, really cheap to get double corruptions for like reduced lightning damage taken, reduced extra damage from crits right here, and you can use tattoos that give you 10% reduced for 5 tattoos. Very, very cheap right now. You can still be crit immune with just a Lightning Coil and some tattoos. Besides the +5 max res, there is really no advantage to the Brass Dome in a situation where you're not going to get enough armor. If you are scaling very, very high armor, great, you're good. But in this situation, I think it's just not compelling. That's it. That is my summary. Are you guys interested in this build? Is this a thing that you wanted to know about? I had a lot of fun testing this out. I'm going to be doing one of these builds. I'm going to try to do it every single Monday for the rest of the league. Let me know in the comments below any ideas that you guys have for other builds for me to check out. I have a couple on the list already, so don't worry. We got more coming, but I'm interested in any builds like archetypes that have fallen out of favor. I want to know builds that people are still playing, that are off meta, but we can find people kind of in the shadows and find the builds that people are playing. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.